Hello everybody, my name is Code Blue and welcome back to another Code Blue tutorial. Now before we get started, I want to apologize for the mic quality. My mixer broke the other day and now I have to use a terrible mic, so again I do apologize, it will get better soon. On top of that, I'm going to throw out and tell you to go visit my website, codebluetutorials.com, where I offer one-on-one tutoring. You can donate and there's also some useful resources there for learning whatever I'm teaching. So what we're going to be doing in this video in particular is we're going to be learning about eye traces. Now, some people may think that this is pointless, but in the next two tutorials, we're going to be creating a money printer for DarkRP. It's going to be a very basic printer. It's going to be nothing too advanced, but we're going to be using eye traces in it, which is why I want to kind of get it out the way now. So what is an eye trace? Let me go ahead and open up Photoshop here real quick. And Photoshop seems to have frozen on me. Oh, there we go. So basically, the best way, if I move this out the way, the best way to describe what an eye trace is imagine that this guy, let me go ahead and make that a bit smaller. Let me increase the hardness of it. There we go. All right, so imagine that this is not going well for me, is it? Okay, so imagine that this is our player, okay? In the game, he's a beautiful little stick guy. Now, say my player is looking at this, say this is a wall, he's looking at the wall, but here. Now, what an eye trace is we can basically, it's like firing an invisible laser beam from the player's eyes in the direction that the player is looking in until it hits something. Then when it hits something, we're going to know everything about that. We're going to know what the distance was, we're going to know what object it hit, where it hit on the object, and relative to the world. The actual entity itself. There's many different things, and we'll take a look at this in a minute. But this is very useful for kind of working out the environment that your player is working with. So let's go ahead and just quickly, I'll go ahead and pause the video a sec while I open my Sublime and Garry's Mod. Okay, so there we go. We're all back now. I do apologize for that little jump. Now, what we're going to be doing here is I've created a new file in Sublime. I'm going to go ahead and save it into, where is it? Games, Steam Library, Steam Apps Common, Garry's Mod, and then Lua. And we're just going to name this iTrace.Lua, okay? Now, what we're going to do in here is we're going to take a look at the wiki first, just so I can explain it better to you guys. Okay, so you can call this on a player. This is server and client side as well, just so you know. And when you call this on a player, as you can see, it returns a table of information of what the player is looking at. The result of these functions are cached every frame. Don't worry about that part. But as you can see, it returns a table, and that table contains the trace information. So if we go ahead and we click on this, it's going to show us the structure that it's given to us. So we can access the entity, the fraction left solid, the hitbox, hit group, hit no draw. A lot of these you will never ever use. I've only used very few of them. But that's basically what we're going to do. So we're going to do one where we get a look at the entity. So we're going to do hook.add, and we're going to do think. We'll just name it test hook. If you don't know what hooks are, go back and look at one of my previous videos. Whoops. As you can also see, it is almost 4 a.m. here, so I am a bit tired. But now that we've got this hook set up, what we can do is we can say local eye trace is equal to local player get eye trace. Okay, so now we get the table of the eye trace inside this eye trace variable. Then what we can do is we could say chat dot add text, and then in here we could say iTrace dot actually, we'll just do iTrace.entity. The reason I do the dot entity is because if we go back to the wiki here, as you can see, entity is the name of the entity hit by the trace. So I would do dot entity. If I wanted the position and where it hit, I would do dot hit pos, which would give me the position of where it hit. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to now go into my game. I'm going to do Lua OpenScript CL. I'm running this on the client, and I will open up iTrace.Lua. And there you go. As you can see, in my chat, it is spamming world spawn. Wherever I look, it's pretty much world spawn, okay? Now, if I go ahead and I spawn in a prop, as you can see, now we're looking at a prop. It says in my chat, prop underscore physics, because that's what we are currently looking at. If we go back to the world prop, as you can see, we can cycle between them. If I go ahead and get something like a vehicle or something like an NPC, as you can see, it shows up NPC underscore monk, prop underscore vehicle underscore prisoner underscore pod. There you go. So I hope that makes sense to you. We can also see the line. It's kind of like firing your fizz gun. Think of it like this: firing your fizz gun and getting all the information on where it hit. So if I fire it here, it hit this entity and it's this distance in front of me, etc., etc. We will be using this in the next video. I know this video was kind of short, but again, in the next video, we'll be taking a look at money printers. It'll probably be a 2-part tutorial, and iTrace is one of the most complex things that we're going to be using in the whole project. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys know what that is before we get started. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. If you want to donate and help me out, feel free to check out my website. And thanks for watching.